Here's something I've never said on camera before, at least publicly like this. Before one of my biggest keynotes of my career, I was hoping I was gonna get mugged. Not like seriously hurt, just delayed. Excused from having to do the gig so I wouldn't have to go and give the talk. The talk that I'd been wanting to do so bad, the career that I'd built so much for. It's wild, right? But that story, the one I almost deleted from my talk and also from my book, Make a Scene, it ended up changing so many things. I'm Mike Ganino, keynote director, public speaking coach, and author of Make a Scene. And I help speakers like you craft the kind of signature talk that make audiences lean in and clients line up. We've been taught to polish, rehearse, perfect, but the moment I shared that story, the one that I was so scared to tell and scared to write in a book, scared to give on stage, the audience didn't flinch. They leaned all the way in. Most people try to impress an audience with their highlight reel, but connection happens in those human moments, the stories that feel too real, too close. It allows the audience to see their own experiences and what you've been through. Now they're ready to listen. Now they're ready to say, ooh, me too. What I learned in this was that vulnerability isn't a weakness. It's one of your most valuable speaking currencies. People don't connect to polish, they connect to courage. I should have been in my room getting ready for the gig the next day, but I found myself walking around the streets of New Orleans. I was there to give a big career-defining keynote speech. I'd been at this for a couple of years at this point. This is like a decade ago. And I was sharing the stage at this event with the two big speakers in my space at the time, Brene Brown and Simon Sinek. You might have heard of them. And as I was walking around the streets, I should have been celebrating. I should have been thinking, wow, I can't believe I made it this far. This is everything I've been hoping for and dreaming for. This is going to change things. And instead, I'm walking around, finding the darkest alley I can find, hoping that I'll fall and twist my ankle, that someone will rob me. I kind of like walking around with my phone and my wallet in my hand saying, I've got cash, hoping that someone would mug me. Not enough to really hurt me, but just enough that I wouldn't have to go and do the gig tomorrow. This thing that I've been working so hard for. But here I am just saying to myself over and over, maybe you're not good enough. Maybe you're not ready. So instead of being in my room and thinking about this big epic moment, I was there letting my insecurity stop me from getting on that stage. No, I didn't let it stop me. I did eventually get on the stage the next morning. I did my job and it did what I thought it would do for my career. It helped elevate me in all of the right ways. And for so long, I never told that story. I didn't tell the story about how I had 185 slides for a 30-minute talk, which is a ridiculous amount of slides to have for a 30-minute talk. I didn't talk about the fact that I wanted to get mugged in New Orleans. I didn't share any of these things because I thought maybe that's going to make me look less credible. But when I finally started sharing them on stages, in workshops, on podcasts, in my book, Make a Scene, I heard from people over and over that said, oh my gosh, me too. You've been there, you know what that's like. That moment of connection changed things. And I knew that if I feel this way and I can let people into it, my audience has probably felt that as well. And that kind of resonance, that kind of presence, that kind of connection, that is something money can't buy. And it's something that speakers really need to tap into. I shaped that moment into a story using my transformational narrative structure. We set the scene in New Orleans, the pressure, the moment of fear, the stakes that were involved. And then we built the tension, the emotional avoidance, the big goals that I wanted but also ran away from. We revealed the shift, the moment of owning that fear, of choosing to speak up and show up anyway. And then we showed the impact of that, the deeper audience response, the business growth that came along with it. Once I added that story to my keynote and also to the book, I didn't just start connecting more deeply. I started getting more DMs, more client calls, more paid bookings, more clients lining up to work with me one-on-one. So, what is a story that you have been scared to tell? The one that feels too raw, too personal, too off-brand to share in front of other people? Drop a comment and say, I've got one. I'm gonna know what you mean. You know, I didn't realize it at the time, but that was the birth of a signature story. Not just because it was vulnerable, but because it was true for me and for so many people that I speak to. And now I teach every speaker I coach inside of the Speakers Guild or in VIP days to find the stories they're avoiding and to learn to tell the stories in a way that actually becomes gold on stage. Here's what you need to know. The story you're afraid to tell is probably the one that a lot of people need to hear the most. It's not about trauma dumping, it's about choosing the right vulnerable moment and learning to direct it with intention. That's what I do as a keynote director. I help speakers go from, I could never share this, to, I can't believe I shared that, and they responded so positively. If you want to start shaping your stories into a signature moment, then download the Storycraft guide at mikeandino.com/storycraft. It's how I help speakers like you structure stories that build trust, grow impact, and start to drive real revenue. And if you've got a story that still scares you, but you are driven to tell in a way that helps audiences grow, then say I'm ready in the comments and let's start shaping that thing together.